I was born in Auburn, Washington, and raised in Auburn, Washington. I've lived there my whole life.
Who raised you?
My mom and dad.
Yeah. Any siblings in there?
I have one sister and two brothers.
And tell me about your home life and the dynamic growing up. What was that like?
I was a really fortunate child, I think, having two parents and having siblings and a full house. My daddy was a preacher, and he was also, basically, he did like sub preaching. He didn't do every Sunday, but he ran the song ministry at church, so I had to sing all the time. Me and my sister always had to sing songs, and we would practice, and it was fun. And I remember learning to harmonize with my sister, and having to do two totally different tones, and I remember always feeling like I was stuck, with the alto, and so when she's singing soprano, someone who sings soprano sings the main chorus of the song.
Yeah.
So if you're singing "Oops, I Did It Again" like Britney Spears, right? She's singing the basic soprano version, right? The person you don't really hear as much in the background or harmonizing with her is the alto person.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they're singing a completely different tone. And I remember how frustrating it would be because my part had to be different, and it wasn't.
Did harmonies? Because a lot of people, they can hear harmony right away.
Yeah.
I cannot. Does that come natural for you, where you can just lock in? And
yeah, because my dad can play any and every instrument. You can have a saxophone, a piano, the drums, the bass, the guitar, harmonica. I mean, he's so amazing.
Besides singing,
yeah.
Did you pick up any instruments?
Well, I was forced to play guitar lessons and piano lessons. And when you're forced, you hate it.
Yes, that's right.
And I could never read notes. I could not. To this day, I just don't understand how people do it. How do you read notes, which are code? I don't get it. Why don't you just say A or B or whatever instead of putting it in some... You know what I mean? To me, it's I gotta read that in advance to get to where it's. To me, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's too much for me. So I always, my dad would call play by ear, meaning so if my piano teacher played something, I would act like I'm reading the notes, but I never was. I was just listening to what she's playing and play it. And she actually quit on me and said, "I'm not going to be your teacher anymore." And refused to teach me anymore.
What did you guys do as kids for fun in Auburn?
Oh, you know what? We played outside a lot. Yeah. I remember we had to be home when the street lights came on, and that's what. And I remember getting a Mickey Mouse watch and me turning it back 1 hour once, and thinking I was gonna fool them, but no, I got spanked. I got a lot of spankings,
So you went to high school in Auburn and did the whole thing?
Actually, my dad went to Auburn High School. My uncles, my brother, my son.
It's all your families.
Yeah, my grandmother and grandfather had a excavating company in Auburn. So they were like some of the root people I call the pillars of Auburn.
Yeah.
So old places like Peck and Paw Drugs, and used to be a grocery store called Massey's. My grandma had a running credit there. She'd just go get her groceries, and we'd be eating cookies down the aisle and drinking sodas. And when I do that now, my youngest son will go, "Mom, that's stealing." I'm like, "No, it's not. I'm going to pay for it."
Pay for the package.
Right, but he gets mortified if I drink a soda while I'm going down the aisle. It's funny.
Well, tell me about in high school, sports or anything, or
music,
singing.
I felt like if you were in choir, you were a dork. I did join choir just because it was easy A, or a pass or a fail. I think it was pass or fail. But I didn't like it. I didn't try. Actually, I didn't try at all in high school. I didn't even graduate. I dropped out in the middle of my senior year. Oh. Foolish. But I was doing that because I was failing all my classes because I went to school for a social thing. To me, it was a fashion show.
Well, high school's like that, right? It's like you're going just for the social.
At least for me, it was.
For a lot of people.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I've never really talked to people about their experience in high school, except that they were successful or took took it more serious than I did.
And school's not for everybody. It's okay.
Yeah, no, actually, I realized I was actually very intelligent way after the fact of being in high school. I had trouble reading. I was always in special ed reading in junior high and stuff. And it's because nobody ever worked with me to teach me that if you actually read a book that you enjoy, you'll actually maybe like to read.
It makes a difference, right?
Yeah. And so I wasn't comprehending it. I'd read it over and over and over and over. And I just wouldn't comprehend what I just read. And nobody figured that out. It helped me figure that out.
I remember I used to, when I was younger, my dad would make me read to him while he was in his recliner. I'd sit at his foot and have to read because I was similar. I just couldn't.
Was it a book that you enjoyed reading, or was it a book he picked out?
I don't remember what kind of books they were. What is it? Hardy Boys? Was that?
Yeah.
Series?
It was. Those were books.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
Well, so when you dropped out, what'd you do?
Partied, really.
Gotcha.
My dad was really strict. I mean, I couldn't wear makeup or nylons or.
Was this because of the religious?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like, I was a bad kid. I would sneak out all the time, and I'd go party. And to this day, my sister will say, "You got to do everything you wanted. Mom and Dad let you do anything you wanted." I said, "No, Rhonda, I did everything I wanted to, and I got my ass beat for it when I got home." So like, I would say to my parents, "I'm going to Debbie's tonight," and we were going to a concert or a party, and I was gone all weekend.
I did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, I did too. And she was...
And it's not bad, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'd use the word adventurous.
Yes, me too. See, now she was in concert choir, she was in, what's that, like when you're in like special, like above average classes.
AP classes.
Yeah, she was in AP classes, and she was really involved in school, got great credits, and she would come home and she would start cleaning. And I remember telling my mom, I can't remember how to turn on the washer and dryer. And they would try to teach me again. I can't remember. And they bought it. So I never had to do it. They'd make my sister do it. And I thought, well, she is stupid. She is coming home and Mrs. Cinderella. What an idiot.
Yeah, Tonja, mischievous.
I really was.
Well, in your 20s, what's happening in your 20s?
I was a stripper for 10 years. From the age of I think 19-ish. Yeah.
Tell me that process of how that happened.
I went to jail, and I can't remember for what. I can't remember why I went to jail. Maybe I stole something or something, I don't know. But I met a girl in jail, and she was attractive and had fake boobs and was telling me all these what seemed like real lucrative things, and I really liked her as a person too. So I was like, I'm going to try this. And the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil, and I became addicted to the money.
Gotcha.
And what's funny is I went home every single night afterward. I had a man, and I was with him for 7 years. My oldest son's father. Every night I went home, and it was weird. I mean, instead of go out and party with girls or whatever, or do drugs, I didn't. I smoked some weed. It seems like when I was there working I had to smoke weed, but I didn't drink or do any type. It didn't seem like any of the girls did.
You're working.
Yeah,
it's a job.
Well, a lot of people are under the impression that girls are doing cocaine or heroin. A lot of them are going to school. A lot of them are moms, and it's really not what people think. Just women who can make some good money, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved dancing.
Okay.
I did. I loved the music, of course, and I really loved putting the dance to it.
Now, I gotta ask, did your parents know?
No. Actually, you know what? My dad thought I was a manager at Safeway.
Oh.
My grandmother is the only one who knew.
Did you tell her?
Oh yeah, I could tell my grandma anything.
Yeah.
She was my very best friend. She was like my mom and my very best friend. I miss her terribly. I love that I had her in my life.
Yeah. I mean, how important is it to have a family member where you can just tell anything and everything?
Ultra. It's the most important.
Be known, be seen,
Yeah,
you
my
know.
kids and I, we're really close. I haven't seen him in many years. It's probably the biggest heartache I have in my life right now. That's why I'm out here homeless right now. I think I self-sabotage myself. And I punish myself for losing my family. You know, I raised my kids. They were adults. I mean, my youngest son was like 15. But they were my best. They were my best friends. We used to cuddle every day. We'd watch cartoons and excuse me. I used to love cuddling. Even my oldest son, as a 20-year-old boy, you know, he'd be in his boxers and I'd be in my t-shirt and underwear, and we'd just get under the covers and cuddle and watch TV. And I remember my husband sometimes even getting jealous because he thought I spent more time with the kids. But I was a mom. It was my job.
Yeah.
And we were really close. I got that from my grandma. I could tell her anything, and she never judged us. And her advice was always sound, and she was always very wise. And to this day, my job as a woman is to be a mom. For the rest of your life, you're a mother.
Yeah, that's right.
And all I want to be is a wise woman to my children. And I want to give them wise advice.
How many kids?
I have 2 sons.
2 sons. Well, let's talk about that, I guess, since we're there, maybe that transition of what happened.
I needed back surgery, and I was being prescribed a lot of the 30 milligram Percocets that was famously, the manufacturer was sued, the government was sued. I wish I had been more aware and not drugged up on those to have participated, because it destroyed my life.
It's okay.
And
It's okay.
I was married for 18 years with my husband, and we had 2 sons, and we had horses, and we had acreage, and we owned our own business. He bought me a Lexus, which at an auction we paid like $12,000 for it, but I loved it. And I went to jail for domestic violence. I had taken a police baton somebody had given me I traded them a pill for this baton. And I remember when I stuck it in my purse that night, I knew that there was something ominous when I stuck that in my purse. It was something I just knew that was gonna be a problem for me.
Your gut was telling you something.
Yeah, and it just so happened that baton, I got in an argument with my husband on the way home from work one day, and I smacked it on the dash, threatening him with, I was gonna hit him or whatever. But I did it right in front of the Milton Police Department, literally at the stop sign right in front of the building. And he was obviously scared. He's a 6'4", 280-pound man of muscle. And to be honest with you, if I look back at the amount of medication I was on, and the different medications I was on, I'm sure I was a monster. I'm quite sure of it, because I was on Klonopin, and he had me on Ambien, which is a sleeping medication. He just had me doped up.
You say he?
My doctor.
Doctor, got it.
And I remember going out to dinner with my family and taking a bite of my burger and nodding out. And how embarrassing to my family. And one time I had a butcher knife in my room because I had told my husband, don't sleep, because we were arguing, right? And it was I was kidding. I'm like, don't fall asleep for 30 days at least or whatever, But I'm going to put this right next to my bed. I mean, talk about being a monster, right? So I'd put it next to my bed, and I forgot about it. Well, I don't even remember this instance, but my son and my high school best friend, his name's Rob, I guess he came over one afternoon, And I was showing him this butcher knife that I had jokingly, but not, I mean, obviously it was not funny, to my husband and set on the bed. And I guess I fell into, like, onto the bed or something. Like I said, I don't recall it. I was just told the story. And I almost impaled myself with this butcher knife. And I guess I was so wasted that my youngest son at the time, I think he was 13-ish, and my best friend had to put me to bed. And I don't remember any of it. And when they told me that story, I was so disgusted with myself. But I was a high, fully functioning addict at the time. And as gross and disgusting I was with myself, that my son had to witness that.
And you're working this whole time?
What's that?
You're working or just...
yeah, my husband and I owned a business.
Oh, you're saying that.
Yeah. And I worked as least as possible. But I worked, probably 20 hours a week. But of course I claimed that I worked more, up in my office on Facebook or whatever, and slaving away, but I didn't work that much. But, and I got to work when I wanted to, pretty much. But stories like that are horrific. And it hurts me deeply. And I remember when I went to jail for domestic violence for the baton thing. And when I was in jail, I was served divorce papers. And I was so embarrassed. And I didn't go back to court because I just didn't want to face it. That if I went to divorce court, I'd be arrested. So I never show up for court in one fashion, not for the criminal matter or for the divorce matter. I should have gotten, to be honest with you, spousal support. There's a lot of things I should have gotten.
What kept you from court? Just the shame?
Yeah.
Just the
I didn't want a
embarrassment,
divorce.
the guilt? Yeah. And you didn't want, who wants a divorce?
And I just felt, my ex-husband has been a drug addict in his past, and his mom was a great support to him. And I didn't understand why he never got help from me. Why did he just serve me divorce papers and he never tried to help me? Unless I was just a huge monster and I could imagine that perhaps I wasn't worth the investment.
Yeah, more the shame, there's the worth, right?
I can only imagine how embarrassed he must have been.
Yeah. My guess is it felt like abandonment.
I felt like I was thrown away in the garbage. And I have a lot of abandonment issues today.
Because of that?
Because of that.
And so, what'd you do? What happened? Is that when you lost?
Well, I couldn't go home anymore because of domestic violence.
So where'd you go?
I bought an RV, or I bought a U-Haul for my neighbor, and I lived in my RV, and I've been homeless ever since.
Wow. How long ago was this?
It'll be 5 years coming up in December.
Wow.
December 22nd. And I can't believe that much time has gone by, but I haven't seen my kids in 5 years.
Oh, you haven't seen your kids since then? Or talked to them?
I've tried, but they're very mad at me. My youngest son told me that he hates me in hopes I'm cold, in hopes that I'm hungry, and that he never wants to talk to me again, that I left him alone with his dad. You left me alone with Dad. And I tried to explain to him, son, I didn't. The police wouldn't let me go back home. And after going back and forth with him on that matter, after we hung up the phone, I realized that he was absolutely right. The moment I started abusing those pills is the moment I left him. And he's a wise young man. And he'll be 21 in about 10 days. And I haven't seen him since, actually, it'll be 7 years. 7 years. And I just don't understand why I was hit by a Mack truck last year in the sidewalk. I was riding my bike and I was hit by a Mack truck and broke the whole left side of my body. Broke my hip, my arm, my leg, my ankle, my foot, my right orbital socket, my nose. And I'm getting ready to get paid real big. But that's here nor there. I mean, we're talking upwards of $1 million. And that's not why that I want, but I almost died. I've almost died a couple times. I smoked fentanyl. My first toke I took, I died. My fiance had to do CPR for 7 minutes until the ambulance got there. And he broke 9 of my 12 ribs. He broke my sternum and punctured a hole in my lung. In the hospital, I was in the hospital for 6 days.
And this is a result from being outside.
Well, this is a result from me.
Well, the fentanyl, but when you got hit by that truck, was it just because you're living outside?
Yeah, I mean, I was riding my bike to meet a guy for a phone down at the 7-Eleven, and I was going too fast. And when I got to the crosswalk, I remember thinking, I can make this. And I went for it, and I didn't make it.
Gotcha.
But because I'm a pedestrian in a sidewalk, that's all that matters. Washington State gives me that great ability to get paid.
We never know who's going to see this.
Right.
And there's a possibility that your sons may see this.
I wish they would.
Yeah. What would you say to them?
Isn't enough time gone by? Haven't I been punished enough? Don't you remember how close we were? And I don't think I'm going to live that much longer. I just have this feeling. I mean, I just got over pneumonia a couple weeks ago, and I'm getting it again. It's cold out here. And, I've got thyroid disease, which is a autoimmune disorder. I don't take my pills. Why? I don't know. I don't take care of myself. And I just consider it maybe self-sabotage. I don't know why. I feel like as long as they're not my life, I don't try. I have nothing to live for. They're my life.
Yeah, I got 9 and 10-year-old little girls, and they motivate me.
Of course. And my oldest son is 31.
Yeah.
My youngest son will be 21. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what age they are.
That's right.
They're my life.
Of course. But if I tell you, if I was away from my girls for a long period of time, yeah, that would...
It destroys me. I mean, it has destroyed me.
Totally.
And I've got some serious codependency issues, which are not fun for my fiance. They're difficult for him because I'm like a Klingon. But he's all I got. My oldest brother's passed away. My mom passed away. My dad's old and cranky. My little brother is young, and there was a problem with, that's a whole other story, but his ex-wife and stuff is kind of a weirdo and caused some unnecessary issue between my little brother and I. And it was too much for my dad. And he was like, I don't want to hear this shit with you guys. And my oldest sister she's a piece of work. She steals from me and she's jealous of me. I don't understand it, but I don't have a relationship with my family.
Yeah, so your only support is your fiance.
Yeah.
Tell me your hopes and dreams. What do you want, Tonja?
What do I want? We want to move to Alaska and be away from the hustle and bustle of the city. We want to buy some land and build a cabin, and we want to start our peonies farm. And peonies grows just like the size of dinner plates. And when you plant them in the ground, they take like 4 to 5 years to start producing. But once you do that, they'll produce forever. And we figured that if we planted, I think it was 10 acres of peonies, we could make like $1 million a year. And just by cutting them up and, keeping them trimmed up like Christmas trees.
So what I hear is I want to get off the streets.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Who wants to be on the street? I don't know anybody who wants to be out here. I find that most of these people out here are severely addicted. I don't know one that's not addicted to some drug or another, but there's a lot of mental illness. But I'll tell you that being on the streets, if you didn't have a mental illness before, you're gonna get one assuredly.
Well, and a lot of people are coping with a lot of pain,
Yeah.
with illegal or legal substances,
Yeah.
just like house people.
Right. I agree.
And being in that fight or flight, I'm only speculating because I don't know the experience of every single day trying to fight to survive, and
Right.
if that gives some kind of relief, something, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, it is fight or flight. And it is, every day, all day long.
Yeah.
To this day, I have warrants that I've never dealt with.
So you have that
Always
there.
I see a police officer, I run the other direction, or it's because I don't want to face anything. I can't take anymore. I just don't have it to give. And I wish the courts would understand what it's like to be out here. For me to go to court clear in Lakewood, the last time I took, when I was arrested one time on a warrant for not going to court, it took me 12 and a half hours to get home here on the bus, because I don't know bus. How am I supposed to know what time the bus is coming, or what bus to take, or where to get it at? And I have this, I freak out when I ride the buses. I get, it's weird. It's like I got this phobia. And I start crying, I start getting nervous, and I can't do it. And I wish that they would, instead of me feared to go, I'd like to go to court.
Take care of that stuff.
But if I had a car, it'd be easier, I guess. And I wouldn't be so cold and homeless either.
Well, I hear that's one of the many barriers.
Yeah, having a vehicle, because I need to go to DSHS, but it takes 2 buses to get there. It takes over an hour to get there. And I had a phone, when I went to jail, I go to jail often. I get picked up on a warrant. And the guy there, really wonderful guy, who runs the MAT program there. It's a medicated assistant treatment program that they start you on Suboxone there in jail. He gave me a beautiful Samsung phone with 3 months of service when I left jail. Less than a week later, it was stolen from me. I let a guy use a flashlight. He walked off with it. Well, I should have never. It's sad I can't still let somebody use it for a flashlight, but you can't. And then my fiance bought me an iPhone about a month ago. We had it 2 days, and somebody walked off with it. We had it on top of our shopping cart that we were walking around with, and somebody just reached right in there and took it. You can't have anything out here. Just last week, someone stole every one of our possessions. Literally, I found these shoes, these Converse are my favorite in the whole world. I found these yesterday sitting on the sidewalk across the street. They had no laces, but they're almost brand new. But I put on wet, dirty pants yesterday because it's all I had. I have no bra. It's crazy. The guy took everything.
It just seems like, again, fight or flight. Everyone's fighting to survive by any means.
Well, I find it absolutely unacceptable to steal from one another. Sure. And you want to know what I did? I took a metal pole and I smacked him 3 times with it. And I said, "You better leave Ballard, I'll kill you." And I said, and everybody was applauding for me because everybody's tired of him. He steals, he's a notorious thief.
Certain person.
And I just couldn't take it anymore. No one's stealing from me anymore. I'm not having it. If you're going to steal from me, I'm going to kick your ass. That's all there is to it. So put the word out there. That's what I told them all. If you steal from me, I'm coming to get you. Because that's what I'm done.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I'll go to jail again. But guess what? A lot of people are really proud of me and said that, I did more than even a guy would do. Good for you, Tonja, good for you. Well, I hope that it's good for you because I don't want to have to hurt you. But I will. I would. So I hate to say it, and it sounds awful, but I'm over it. I can't take it anymore.
you were at the end of your rope with that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just done. I can't do. I mean, literally, I have no makeup. No mirror to put the little bit of makeup I have on is what I found in a bag. And I had no mirror to put it on with. I had a little tiny gel comb to brush my hair with this morning. I've got no shampoo.
Where are you guys sleeping?
In an abandoned building right now. Yeah.
One last question before we wrap up. Tonja, is there anything that you want to say to the people of Seattle?
Homeless people aren't as bad as you think. Unfortunately, the homeless people are pigeonholed, or they're. It's really sad because you hear people say, "Oh, those homeless people." You know, we're not all the same. We're really not, and the theft is an issue. It really is, and that makes for homeless people, you know, getting the bad rap because they're stealing to support a drug habit. There needs to be implemented a new program in our community, in our cities, in Amsterdam, there's a program that works. The theft rate is 0. They legalize everything and they provide that shit to people. But guess what? There's no AIDS, there's no theft, there's no people selling dope. People aren't stealing things from people's yards or their homes, or I don't understand why we don't adopt those rules. You know, if you're not a drug addict, you're a food addict or a porn addict. Everybody's addicted to something.
That's right, you name it.
And so It's sad that you or whomever demonize somebody else when you're the very same. And the Lord will judge you lest you judge one another. You'll be judged in the same accordance. So I feel sorry for those people who look down at homeless, because you know what? You're just a paycheck away from being homeless yourself. And it's the truth. And I just want people to... I used to judge people. I used to be a big brat, a stuck-up little bitch. And now I'm not so much. Sometimes I still can be. But I quickly forget where I'm at and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't believe I'm where I'm at. I'm shocked. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. But I know that God had to brought me here for a reason.
Well, I hope you get out.
I will.
And fight to get out and reconnect with your sons, and
yeah,
life changes different, makes a different turn. And
I'm embarrassed for them to know what I've been through, but I've got a lot of stories to tell them.
Well, and also your story's not over. This is a section.
Amen. It's just a season.
It's a season. Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks so much for sharing. It's good to hear your voice, Tonja.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oi, you open for a hug?
Sure.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hang in there.